Hey there, Tanya from moneygal.ca. In our first video, I showed you how to build the skeleton, the template for this quick household budget. In this video, I'm quickly going to show you how to fill it out, what belongs here, and how to balance your budget. So the first thing I did, I filled it out ahead to make this a shorter video. So basically what I did is I went through and I thought of every category of money that I can count on coming in every year into our house. So I put tax return in my budget because I know that for the last 10-15 years, every time I file my taxes, I'm guaranteed about an $800 return. So I mean, I can budget for that. Government, what I mean by that is, the benefits that you get every month for your kids from the government. I always forget what they call it. They used to call it a baby bonus, but whatever they call it now, I put that in there. And medical benefits, I was considering that, like my kids have braces and I pay that out every month, but then my benefits sends half of that back to me. So I can budget for that. I put the money that I spend, about $6,000 a year here, and then I know I can count on half of that coming back to me from my benefits company. So that way, as it comes in or out, I put it on my spreadsheet and it's correctly reflected in my budget. Now keep in mind, the more you put on here, the more accurate it is, the more honest you are with yourself on a budget, the better a tool it can be for you. I mean, this isn't really something you pass or fail. A budget is for your own information. It's just so that you can make absolutely sure that you're putting the maximum amount of money into your savings or putting the maximum amount of money on your debt to pay it down as fast as possible. Basically, to me, that's the one of the best reasons to make a budget. And to sort of keep your spending, keep a rein on your spending, if you know what I mean. If you have a certain amount for entertainment, then having a budget keeps you in line as far as knowing when you're getting close to having spent that amount and so on. So then I did the same thing for the money going out. The first thing I always think of is the bills that are the same every month. So I make a list of all the bills that I can think of that are the same every single month, that I can count on to be the same. All right, things like, obviously your mortgage rent, insurance on your cars. MTO is like the stickers, renewing the stickers on your vehicles, that sort of thing. The second category of expenses are things that you pay every month, but that the amount might change. So these are things that you're going to have to basically make an estimate for, but you can reasonably estimate by looking at what you've spent in the last 6 months or in the last 12 months on those things and estimating how much they're going to be. And the last category of things are things that you know in a year that you're going to spend, but that you don't necessarily know up front what you're going to spend. So those are things that you can now limit your spending on, that you can decide how much you're going to spend on those things in a year. Personal care means things like haircuts and that sort of thing. All right? I always make sure there's a miscellaneous category, and I always put savings or debt on my budget. So those are things that get paid upfront. When the paycheck comes in, there's a certain amount that's just going to be whisked out of my account and to prioritize those things. All right, I'll quickly show you how to enter the amounts. When you want the computer to do a calculation for you, you start with an equal sign. And when you type an equal sign, now Excel knows that you want it to do some math. So this formula, I took the amount on our paycheck, $1,643.50. I multiplied. In Excel, multiplication is an asterisk, so times, and we get paid 26 times a year. So the formula, $1,643.50 times 26, and then the computer added that up for me. I have a formula here that I built in that first video. I showed you how to put a formula so the computer would automatically tell me how much per pay was going in or coming out of my account. All right, so I went through and did formulas for all the things that this is a monthly payment, so if I'm getting $142 a month, then this is what my formula would look like. And then same thing for the money going out. So things that I pay monthly, I would multiply the monthly amount by 12. If you're paying an insurance bill and it's once a year, then you just enter the amount that you pay. For things like heat and hydro, I looked at my bills and estimated, broke it down to about what it comes to every month. Groceries, you can do the same, phone bills, etc. Now for gifts. Basically what I did in this formula is I budget how much I spend on gifts. So that kind of, again, just another way to keep my spending in line with the money that I have. So let's say I know that I spend no more than $40 on gifts and I have 12 people in my family that I buy gifts for, then part of this formula was $40 times 12 gifts a year. Then here I can estimate that my 2 kids are each going to get invited to 3 birthday parties this year, so that makes 6 birthday parties for their friends. And I know again that I'm not going to spend more than $40 on a gift, so I can put in brackets 6 times 40. And I put in an arbitrary amount, but it's an educated guess, that $250 will cover the rest of the gifts through the year, things like Mother's Day, Father's Day, my spouse's birthday, my birthday, anniversary gift, that sort of thing. All right. Clothing, again, I can estimate there are 4 people in my family, and I'm going to estimate about $500 a year for clothes. Keep in mind when you're budgeting that, things like outerwear, obviously with 4 distinct seasons, we need 4. Sometimes, that outerwear can get pretty expensive. Again, there's that $6,000 I'm spending to put the orthodontist kids through college. And personal care, so here I know there are 4 people in my family. I'm assuming each of them is going to have 4 haircuts a year at $30 a haircut. So that's basically how I came to those. Now for miscellaneous, I usually give it a percentage of what's coming in a year. So if I say equals and then I reference the total coming in each year, and then I multiply it by, I'm going to say 5%, so times 0.05, and it'll calculate for me 5% for miscellaneous. And miscellaneous really is miscellaneous. It's things that you can't budget for, things that are just going to happen, throughout the year that you can't really count on or, account for in any other way. So I just make sure that I've got a good amount of money put for that so that those types of expenses don't surprise me and put me off budget. And the last thing I'm going to show you is, so let's say that every month your minimum payments on your credit cards, let's say you're carrying a lot of debt, and the minimum payment is $500. So if I enter that amount here, 500 times 12 months, do you see what happened down here? It turned red. That's showing me that I'm actually spending more than I'm making in a year. So that's not going to work. So now comes the balancing part. This is where you need to go back through the expenses and decide where it is that you can scale back a bit. So let's say, all right, I can't change my mortgage amount, etc., etc. Oh, gifts. Yes, I can definitely change what I spend on gifts. Let's say when my kids go to birthday parties, I limit myself to $30 instead. Oh, okay, that helped, but it's not really, that's not going to do it. So let's say that instead now I'm only going to spend $25 on friend gifts. That still is a pretty decent amount. All right, we're getting there slowly but surely. Let's say we're each going to only go for 3 haircuts a year now instead of 4. You can see that my amount here is getting less. I'm getting closer. Maybe 4% of my money should be allocated for miscellaneous. Okay, I'm almost balanced. I can see here that I think I'm going to have to do some better meal planning, and if I can manage to get my grocery bills, let's say to $210 a week, there we go. I've now balanced my budget. As soon as this is no longer red, now I know that, and like I went over, so I could go back and, okay, maybe I can spend, $220 a week on groceries. Does that still work? Yes, it still works. I'm still balanced. Basically, that's how it works. You keep playing with it until you're back in the black down here. Hope that was helpful. Feel free to visit me at my website, moneygal.ca, for more information. Thanks for watching.